That didn't end at all like I thought it was going to.
Yeah, she became a rage monster for a little bit.
My goodness, wow, what did you think, Slater?
I'm not surprised. I know her well. I know, it's so I know her so well. It's sometimes like she's even a part of me. I feel like sometimes.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you knew each other. Okay.
I'll tell you though. Yeah, no, she's right. You wouldn't like her when she's angry. I said that earlier. She needs to be eaten. She needs to get checked for the diabetes. I think she's got diabetes.
The sweet blood.
She probably got it from kissing her son on the forehead.
That would do it.
Have you seen her huge son?
I have. Have you? He actually gets part-time work as a bouncy house.
The human bouncy house. I would think he could get paid pretty nicely for that.
Well, yeah, I know. And he goes around and they just call it Thunder Bounce.
You don't need to plug him in. There's no compressor that could break.
Absolutely. You just have to make sure to remember to lay him on his stomach, because that way, if he vomits.
I was thinking something else.
I was thinking that was the bouncier side. That's all I was going with.
Trust me, it is all bouncy.
His back is bouncy. Okay.
It is unfortunate, though. Every once in a while they lose a kid between a fat roll. You never see him again.
Oh.
I was thinking if you put him on his back, then you would have to put some pads on some.
Oh yeah. On the kids who were bouncing, not him. Right.
No, on him.
No. He's got plenty of cushion. But we appreciate Minnesota Mother checking in. I think that was like season 1 she called into us. And I just hope she can calm down and hope she doesn't give up on Valley Fair.
Well, I think in the next couple of years, they'll get that 500-foot coaster.
We can hope for her sanity that they do.
You're right. In the next few years, they are going to get that 500-foot coaster. It's going to be a picture of the one they built at Cedar Point, but it'll be hanging somewhere in the park, I'm sure.
I don't know. If you put all their lift hills together, I don't know if you have a 500-foot coaster, sadly. But
yeah, probably not.
All right. Well, we finally have to wrap up our southern trip that we started talking about, I don't know, 3.5 years ago. And after we headed out of San Antonio, we then had to head back east after we left both of our Six Flags Texas Park. And we actually stopped at a Buc-ee's that we heard so much about, especially from Crazy Aunt Sue and Dan the T-shirt guy. And Slater, you are familiar with Buc-ee's?
Oh, yes. I am a Buc-ee's fan. Absolutely. And you know who really sung the praises of Buc-ee's for me was Beardman.
Oh, yeah, that's right as well. Very good.
Did y'all sample their beef jerky counter?
I know there was a fudge counter.
That was good.
There was a sandwich counter, but I didn't see a jerky counter. That's rather specific.
Oh my goodness. It was probably literally a 30-foot long counter of all these different flavors of beef jerky that they make in-house. And it was so good. I spent way too much money.
Oh, it's
you have
easy.
to go back to Texas just for that, I think.
You can spend so much money there. And for those of you not from that area or haven't been, Buc-ee's is like a giant gas station stop, but then it's a store the size of a grocery store with all kinds of specialty items of all kinds. So it's really impressive.
There's literally a furniture section. You can decorate your house.
And that is really odd. A gas station store that you can decorate your home. That is very odd. Well, then from there, we kept heading east, and then we went through Houston and decided, since we were close to there, to head down to Galveston. And we had a quick stop to get our credit at Kemah Boardwalk, which is near Galveston there. And I know, Slater, you had an experience there, I think about a year and a half ago. And from what I remember, I don't think it went all that well, right? Was at that park?
Don't you know I'm already dead inside enough, and then you bring this up?
I know, I'm sorry, but it was the timing of this episode, and I still feel bad about it, and I'm going to try to get you down there, because when you went, sadly, what happened?
Riot! Riot!
Wait a second.
Just like we're going to knock Fury down.
That word sounded very familiar. Isn't that weird? Oh,
I think that was Minnesota Mother in the background still screaming riot.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Times, like I said, I feel like she's part of me. Yeah, no, I went down there and I was looking so forward to that ride. I like wood roller coasters, and this one just looked like the best combination of everything I like in a wood coaster. And I was so excited to go ride it. And I called ahead because it's about 45 minutes from where we're staying. So I called ahead and I'm like, hey, is it open? And they're like, yeah, it's open. It's going to be open all day. I'm like, great. I went down there. It wasn't running. I was like, are you kidding me? And so I left angry and said, like, yeah, no, it's not going to open today. I'm like, okay, was it going to be opening this week? Yeah, it'll be open tomorrow. Okay, fine. Annoyed, but I'll come back tomorrow. I called again in the morning before I left, and I said, is it open today? Yes, it's open right now. Great. I went there. Not open. Turns out the trains weren't even there. The trains were at the PTC headquarters getting redone.
Oh, my. So, yes, it's going to open where you get to rollerblade down the tracks. Right.
So we're talking, I mean, this is like customer service, I mean, that's not even like Six Flags standard. I don't know how hard look up! You can see the ride from anywhere! Don't you see it running? Riot! Riot! Riot!
Burn it down!
You're not missing out on much.
First of all, I'll say, it's a beautiful little park. We know a couple of the Jersey boardwalk parks, like Seaside, Casino Pier, and I don't think you've ever been to the Jersey Shore, Slater, I think, right?
Well, I visited Ariel. Does that count?
Boy, that's super close. Actually, you were only about 20 minutes away.
I know I was close. I could smell it. Lots of cologne.
Yeah. And smelling it isn't always a good thing in New Jersey.
Cologne and salami. It's just like a...
Wow, well... Such a great advertisement to go. So anyway, compared to...
I don't know if you can keep that in.
I'm sure we can. We have no censor.
I apologize. Nobody blame Adam. I'm supposed to be behaved, and I'm trying really hard. That was a family-friendly joke for me.
Don't blame Adam, but you can blame Andrew. I like it.
It's all Alex's fault, okay?
Alex, he was not even here. So Kemah, I thought, was a really neat, nice-looking park, a beautiful view of the bay, and it was so well put together. Now, it's pretty tiny. Do you even remember, Rue, what they had there?
Well, they had a little tiny train ride.
Yes.
They had a double-decker carousel, I believe.
Yes.
And they had like an observation tower.
Maybe one little drop tower.
They had one of those tiny I think they're the KMG Afterburns. But it's like a swing ride. Didn't they have one of those things? They have a tiny one of those too. They kind of look like a frisbee, but they you face on the inside and look at each other.
Which I don't like as much as facing out. So,
why are you so antisocial?
Those kind of rides, they make me dizzier when you face in and you can look at each other moving. If you look out and you see just the landscape, it just makes me far less dizzy.
You know what, Andrew? I don't believe him because you know what I think he actually means is looking at us makes him sick. That's what I think he means. Oh, is this why at Holiday World you would rather ride Wildebeest over Mammoth because looking at us makes you say, I see. Okay.
Yep, antisocial. That's exactly it. You're on to me. I don't know. I've always liked the social aspect of Mammoth, though.
Well,
that's true.
I like Wildebeest better.
I know.
Because of the airtime. But I still love Mammoth.
Yes.
That's the only reason.
Oh, and speaking of that, since we just brought up Holiday World before getting back to Kemah for a second, what do you think of the new theme for Hollywood Nights next year?
It is based on one of my absolute favorite movies. So for that, I am very, very excited.
Okay.
So,
are we going to dress up as pilots or stewardesses or something like that?
I don't know. We should decide that. I think maybe we should all definitely dress up as something.
I could be a mini pilot.
A mini pilot, because we did wear our golf attire last year.
Ooh, we should be the Voyage flight crew.
There you go, Voyage. That makes perfect sense to me. I like it. We've got to put this together.
Absolutely.
Boardwalk Bullet, then. As you said, you didn't miss a ton. It's such a compact coaster. I looked up today.
I feel like it's Thunderhead at Dollywood, but a little less spread out and not as good of us.
Can I make a suggestion? Is it like you take Thunderhead at Dollywood and then you mash it together with maybe a little bit of Ghost Rider or The Legend? I feel like when I look at those rides, they all remind me of that one.
or even the second half of a Ravine Flyer 2. So it is so compact and it's all just on 1 acre there. So it never has a chance to get too crazy because it doesn't gather up enough speed because it's winding in and out of itself. So it really does look beautiful. It just never hits a speed that approaches intensity. So when you talk about a Legend or a Ravine Flyer 2 and those types, now we haven't been out to the West Coast to do Ghost Rider yet, but when you talk about that level of intensity, it never gets close because it just doesn't gather speed. So it's a beautiful structure. It has one left-hand turn where you go towards the Gulf, and it's such a great view. But otherwise, I wouldn't say it's like a top 50 coaster. It's super smooth. They maintain it well, but nothing like you missed out on something incredible.
So it lacks intensity. Absolutely. You might even say approaching boring. Goliath, I found a wood coaster for you.
You mean similar to a coaster in Alabama, you're saying?
I'm not saying anything about I'm saying what?
Whoa. Edit.
I knew there were, I was going to say something that had to go. It was going to happen.
Wow. Andrew has no idea what just happened. I'll explain that in about.
I'll pull that. I'm like, I didn't say anything about that. That's not what I said. So, no comment, sir. No comment.
None at all. So yeah, Kima Boardwalk, a really nice looking place. Maybe a good hour stop just to get in a couple of rides, and that's about it. From there, we continued heading out east towards New Orleans, and since we were by there, we actually went past in Louisiana a park in Baton Rouge called Blue Bayou. We drove past it on the highway, and it's kind of interesting because it's that huge water park. I don't know if you remember when we went past it, but it's got some really impressive looking slides, and then it's got like a wild mouse and a boomerang. Even imagining a boomerang at a mostly water park sounds like a sketchy thing. But it had a couple of credits, but we just didn't have time to stop.
I have legitimately not heard of that park.
They have at least 2 credits. I'm guessing maybe 3. So now that is guaranteed, I would say, the #1 coaster place in Louisiana. Now that Six Flags New Orleans doesn't exist, I have to imagine that there's no place in Louisiana that has anything like that. Yeah, Blue Bayou. It's right off the highway.
Well, I will have to check that out.
For a water park, it actually looks really good. They have some pretty impressive slides, but other than that, I don't really know too much about it. But we didn't really get a chance to stop in New Orleans. Have you been to New Orleans before?
You know, I actually haven't. I really want to go, but, I don't know if my liver can handle it. I'm kidding. Yes, it can. I want to go.
And it's actually up to the challenge.
I am lying. I have heard of this park. I have. I just was not thinking appropriately. Okay. Yeah, Blue Bayou. Okay. It actually looks a lot like Frontier City, in kind of how they have done it up.
Interesting. I think this is far smaller than it, but
it is. Yeah. It's much smaller, but actually, you know what? I take it. I take it back. Looking at other pictures, it looks like a trashier Kentucky Kingdom. Stay away.
Oh, trashier. Well, almost anything would be trashier than Kentucky Kingdom. That's a cute park. How dare you?
Oh.
That water park is all brand new. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The ride side might not be as beautiful, but it's getting there.
Any park with T3 needs to burn down.
Funny enough, that was the one coaster that we didn't do when we were there.
Oh, well, I know, because y'all can still walk.
Which is a good thing, right? We're happy with that? Yep. So we did stop by, though, as we headed past New Orleans. If we had more time, we would have actually stopped in the city and looked around and had a dinner, but we had to get back to Melissa and Maddie. But we did stop by Six Flags New Orleans just to see it. Now, we didn't actually get out and walk around like EB did, but just drove around the perimeter, and it's heartbreaking, Slater. It really is to see that, because there still are a couple of those coasters up. You've got the wooden coaster, Zephyr, right? Mega Zephyr, something like that?
Mega Zephyr, yeah.
That's still up. You've got that bizarre Vekoma custom coaster that's still up. I don't even remember the name of that one.
Joker.
And so that was the Joker. And then there's also, I think, the Sky Coaster structures that are still up.
I lie. I believe it was the Joker when it was in Texas. And then when they moved it, they renamed it. Now that's going to bug me.
What was your thought when we drove past it, Rue?
I think what they should do is they should completely redo it and then send the coasters to like a completely different park so that they didn't just waste a whole big lot of land and coasters.
Well, they talk about Jazzland and bringing that back. By now, obviously, any of the structures and the coasters by now are gone and lost, that there's no refurbishing any of that.
Well. You know,
other than the foundation.
And that is foundations, plumbing, that basic infrastructure is the most expensive part of building a park. That is all fine. So that makes it possible. None of the rides are any good. However, Mega Zephyr's still support wood coaster. You could just replace some of the steel and the wood. So really, they could rebuild it. That's actually like a prime candidate for RMC to come in and look at and say, you know, we're gonna do something completely new with what you have here. So I believe in the possibility. But that said, you know, I believe that park is like, you know, an X. You know, you remember it fondly, but really it was just a load of crap.
Right. It was never touted as a great park. That's
it
true.
wasn't. It was. People were never like, oh, you have to go to this park. No, it was that forgettable park, you know, and then a tragedy happened, and now people are like, oh, remember the good old days. You know.
Which never existed. Right?
It never existed. It never, ever existed. Because let's be honest. Had that not happened, let's be honest, had that disaster not happened, how much investment do you think Six Flags would have done to that park since 2005?
There's not the population base in that area. There isn't.
It might have a free fly. I think that's the only thing they may have added, and maybe a Justice League dark ride. I could see that going out there, but that's it.
Thoroughly agree. Who knows? Possibly a water park expansion. That possibility was there. Other than that, no, I agree. New Orleans is just not that big of a city. You don't have a ton of other cities to draw from in that area. So I agree with you that it was always going to be a third-tier Six Flags park.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. But I would love, though, Jazzland, I'd love those guys to be successful. Their plans look beautiful. But
the funding, right?
Well, I actually think the city is a problem. I mean, the city kind of keeps getting in the way of itself. I think if anyone's like, hey, we want to pour millions of dollars into a project, you're in New Orleans. You need to just say yes and let them do it. And if they fail, oh well, you know?
It would be nice to see that area get a park again. Well, after that, we headed, continuing up north to over Georgia to hang out with Goliath, someone you're familiar with, and finally get to ride Twisted Cyclone, which we already talked about with the Ride of the Week from a number of episodes back. Now, I think over Georgia is a park you've talked about getting to, but still haven't?
I have not made it to that park, and the main reason I want to go to that park is for Monster Mansion. And I better get there before Six Flags decides to, you know, rip it out.
Well, I think it was only within the last number of years that it did get the refurbishment, so I hope that means it's safe for a while. But it is a treasure. And
it's great. It's like Disney level, I'd say.
Even though we don't know Disney level, and that's another park that if and when you get there, we'll meet you there.
Well, if you're saying it's on the caliber of like shows like That's So Raven, I'm excited.
That's So Raven, a reference that Rue has no idea what that is.
That should totally be the theme for the next Hollywood night.
That's So Raven?
That's So Raven! And they should go get Raven Simone to come in there.
And ride the Raven. You're taking a picture of Raven on the Raven. I love it.
Absolutely. I'm game for this. Let's make it happen.
I'm
sorry, I distract you from what you're trying to do, but it's what I do.
Oh, we'll contact Paula and let her know that idea.
Paula,
get her on that
job.
Get that Raven Simone. What's she doing these days?
I don't know.
But really, that's a park we like. I thought Twisted Cyclone, it's so hard to keep all those names in your head between the Wickeds and the Twisteds and Colossuses and Cyclones. It's
Can
crazy.
I say that's one of the prettiest looking RMCs, though? That blue, that is pretty. I really like the look of it.
It really does pop against that white. It really does. And funny enough, we only did that once when we were there. We did a bunch of other rides, like Mind Bender is so good. It's a fun park, and we've had good experiences there. I know Muscle Daddy Jordan did not have the best experience there, which she went off on a tizzy for like 3 episodes, but I like that park.
It's all right. He just needed someone there to calm him down. I want to take him back to that park. I'll hold his hand, make sure he stays calm. He'll have a good time, I promise. He just, he needs someone there to, watch him.
If we're all there, we're a calming influence on him, and I think we can definitely get that done.
Well, I won't be a calming influence.
Oh, from that summer battle where they were going at it. That's true.
Wait, what are we talking about being a commie influence? Why have we turned to communism? What's happening?
A communist influence. No, we are staunch capitalists. That's not us at all. Yes. All right. Well, and then after that, we just kind of headed up north. We actually did stop at Carowinds, so we did, holy cow, so many different parks on that trip. It was pretty crazy how many things we got to. So that pretty much wraps up our crazy trip through a bunch of different episodes.
You failed to mention the most important part about a trip to Texas. What were the best tacos you ate?
Best tacos. Did we eat any tacos?
I mean, we probably ate burritos.
Yeah, it's possible. What tacos did we miss? Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. The fact that, if you had had good tacos, you would know immediately. I am disappointed. We
didn't go with you. That's the problem.
That's the problem. We'll have to fix it. I'm hoping maybe you're my good luck charm. Maybe if I go with you. See, places seem to be open when you go. Things seem to be closed when I go. So maybe we'll have a happy medium where about half is open.
We'll take it. Sold.
And then I can show you all where to get the good tacos. You'll get diarrhea, but they'll taste good.
As long as they taste good, that's all that matters.
As long as they're not Taco Bell burritos.
Uh-huh.
That's not a taco. That's not food.
That's not food. Okay, so we just lost our Taco Bell sponsorship.
Listen, even Thunder Chunks doesn't eat those. He's not.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you're okay with that.
I've had bad experiences with them.
All right, so which tacos are you talking about?
Oh, this is in Texas. There's so much wonderful Tex-Mex. You can find it in like almost every gas station. There's someone doing some truly traditional like Tex-Mex, little tacos and tamales and just you name it. Texas is amazing for fat people.
Absolutely. Next time we go, we had to race through every place we went. We didn't get to do as many cultural things. Like we went to San Antonio and didn't do the Alamo because we went through Cleveland, then Kentucky, and then to Missouri with you, and then Texas, and then New Orleans, and then Atlanta, and then to Charlotte, and then back home. So there's a lot of those cultural things we didn't get to do this time. For instance, next time we get to St. Louis, hopefully we meet up with you so we can go to one of the coolest things in the city that you were the first one to tell us about that we haven't done yet. And that cool thing in the city, that museum is?
Absolutely. The Hoof and Mouth Disease Museum.
It's just people foaming.
Absolutely. Lovely exhibit featuring Rob Alvey. I'm sorry. No, he was just visiting. I thought that was an exhibit, but he always foams at the mouth. We're talking about the City Museum.
Yes, City Museum, which boys are really looking forward to.
The one with the big slide?
The one with the big slide.
Big slide. They have the world's largest pencil.
Wow, that you can write with?
It is a real pencil with a real eraser and real lead.
Does sound pretty cool.
How big are we
So
talking?
you know what's going to happen? When you leave, Alex is going to have pencil all over his face.
That sounds like Alex. It's happened before.
Or more
he
like
seems like a kid who chews on his pencils.
And eats them. Yeah.
Eats them. Okay.
Talking about now the origins of Ride This One and how that started, going way back in time now. Where did the ideas of it and then how you got together with Goliath? Where did the idea of it come from?
Well, it all happened at not very far. No, it did not happen. It all happened at Knoebels. We were up there for the Coaster Radio meetup. I already knew I was kind of wanting to do a podcast, and I don't know, me and Goliath, started talking. I'm obsessed with coffee. He's also obsessed with coffee. That's how we really started talking. And then
Whoa. What a
Well,
bizarre
really?
connection.
Yeah, I know.
Two people who like coffee? Holy cow. How you guys ran into each other with that kind of interest. That's
I know.
amazing.
He was fat. I was fat. I assumed he liked food. Turns out it's a glandular disorder. Uh, no. But no, I had wanted to do it, and he just seemed to be naturally funny. Someone who could like just, he had the good radio voice, all this stuff. I said, would you be interested in doing a podcast? He's like, and he jumped on it immediately. It's like, yes, I'd love to do that. And I was like, well, I wanted to do something that was not like what's out there right now, which is the opposite of what you do and the opposite of family friendly. We're very adult, 18 or older. That's what we do, which he was absolutely fine with. And literally, we started, it became official that we were going to do it when we were in line for Flying Turns. So it was all born in line for Flying Turns.
Wow, okay.
It didn't take us 7 years to get off the ground, though.
What things did take 7 years to get off the ground? In line for Flying Turns, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Insane. But it was well worth the wait, right?
It was. I actually really liked it. To me, not everything has to be super intense or air turbulent. Yeah. It was unique. It was different, and it was still fun. The only thing I say, I wish it was longer. But
yes.
Really fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly. But I like bobsled coasters. I wish there were more.
I'm so glad you brought up Knoebels, because that's like where we met, right? That was our first meeting.
That was?
Yeah. It was right in the parking lot. It was like around the tent where they were selling all the stuff. I think that's where we first actually met you.
Yeah, I that is true. I had a very, very long drive up there with a now ex-friend. And yeah, no, and I don't know, that was such a lot of that weekend is lost to me because I had so little sleep and I drove so much. I remember having a good time and also having a terrible time, and I remember, I know that's where I met people, but I didn't really have a chance to really get to know everyone on that trip. That was my initial connection, and you all didn't hate me after the fiasco. And if you want to learn about the fiasco, you have to go listen to Ride This One. And it's the first episode of Ride This One, so you can find it. And we talk about
it. It's a classic story. And talk about famous first lines of a novel that worked perfectly for that trip. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Very true.
And it's weird because you meet people all the time, and everyone meets different people all the time. And some people, it takes you a long time to get comfortable with someone, get to know them. But I feel like when we met you, within the first 30 seconds, it's like, boom, we're great friends. We're just on the same page. And it's a rare thing. It doesn't happen all the time. And that's one of the things I love, is just that connection happened so quickly.
My strongest memory is from that trip associated with you all is riding Impulse with Andrew, who is in their version of the car seat, the booster seats, which I don't think you need that anymore.
No, thankfully neither of them do. Maddie's got a few years till she gets to that car seat, but yeah, not anymore, thankfully.
That trip was followed up. I mean, like the next day after that, we all went to Dorney, and that's where we really hung out a lot more, was that Dorney. And we really started, like you and me. I actually ended up hanging out with your kids a fair amount at Knoebels because I am a child.
Well, and that's the amazing thing about it, that you still like me, even though I had these two boys hanging around the whole time. So that's what made our friendship that much more impressive, that you didn't just say, oh, God, he's got these two kids, I'm out.
Well, I have the ability to censor myself when I need to. And I hadn't established myself with Ride This One yet either, so y'all had no idea. It was easy for me to live a lie.
So with Ride This One so far, what are some of the highlights that stick out in your mind?
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely, like taking breaks.
Which in the loop has criticized you guys a little bit for that.
Well,
because they never take breaks.
Right, yeah, I know. Things have been a little bit crazy, and I'm not gonna lie. We have been on a bit of a lull, but we're about to come back strong. In fact, probably by the time this comes out, we'll have new episodes out. That was not a dig at how quick you edit and get things out. I was just.
That is such a big part of it. Holy cow.
But No, I mean I definitely like highlights. One of my favorite episodes, although it was the one with the most work, was honestly when we had Mike Collins on. I mean that was so much fun, and it was 3 hours long, and it was so much work, but it was a lot of fun. I mean I've had a lot of fun. It's hard to pick anything out. It's just mainly bringing people on that are my friends and people I care about, and just honestly talking and joking around the way we would if we were at my house and have had a couple of drinks. I mean, it's just, it kind of was my thought, our group, a lot of times when we get together, kind of our group of friends, we will do a fire at our cabin or campground or wherever we're staying. And we all will have a beer or two, and we'll sit and chat. And I basically wanted to kind of capture that in podcast form. And it's not exactly the same because we don't necessarily get up and perform sketches, but that's what I was going for, and I have a lot of fun with it. It's nice.
Do you think 9 was a little too young to include Andrew in those beers and fires? Did we start
I could start next year.
Nah, boy. Next year we're hitting you with some tequila.
That's it. We're starting you with the hard stuff.
But mind you, I'm only going to be hitting you with the bottle. You're not going to be drinking any of it.
Well, we would have had you on much earlier as a guest, but we didn't want to be accused of stealing your format and having guests on the show. That was really the only reason we haven't done this earlier, because you don't want to ever be accused of stealing someone else's material.
That is all we do at Ride This One, is steal what other people do. So I don't want to see other people stealing our idea of stealing other people's ideas. That's our idea.
We're the theme park stealers, exactly, and we don't want to take that from you. I can imagine with that Mike Collins episode, just the rap battle that you had, the amount of time that took to produce alone, nevertheless, the episode.
Everything takes forever, and I'll just be honest, I'll say here, we're not going to be doing sketches every episode anymore because it just reached a point where we're not going to stop doing them. But I realized sometimes we were just putting stuff out because we felt like we had to and not because we thought it was funny. And so that the show is going to continue to evolve. But yeah, sketches and raps and anything like that are a huge amount of work. They take forever. And that's just production. That doesn't count writing. And I mean, we're talking weeks of work.
Yep.
And when you're trying to put 2 episodes out a month, you can't keep up with it with a small team. But
wait, are you saying you also have like a job and like a home life and that kind of stuff?
It is weird. I have a job and a home life, and and a home life that's been absolutely hectic. So I'm excited though for what is about to happen with Ride This One. I think we're taking things a good direction. It's not completely different. It's still gonna, like, the bulk of the podcast is gonna be the same as we've always done it, but it is going to be a little bit more raw.
Okay.
AKA, I am not spending 8 hours editing 3 hours of audio anymore. I'm just not gonna do it. Well, 8 hours if it was going really well. So
yep, trust me, I know.
So, and those are the things that are going to change. And if people have a problem with it, well, I don't care. Go, if you listen to In the Loop, you can't complain.
Roof, 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 roof. I think that's happened. I think it's happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why Drew insists on barking so much.
I think it's role playing that the legend has him on a leash and then.
It's true. I actually think it's more the other way around, but that's not a discussion for this show.
So a dream episode. I don't even know if you've thought of one, but if you had one dream episode of having a certain guest that you can picture in your mind, you could pick anyone, anything like that, or a place that you do it from, anything like that. Do you have a dream episode that you're thinking of for Ride This One?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I want to have.
Oh boy. Edit.
No, I want to have Neil Patrick Harris on, but I want to mess with people and not only have him on for literally like 1 minute. I'll be like, hey, what's up? How are you doing? He'd be like, oh, I'm good. And I'm like, all right. And that was Neil Patrick Harris. And that's it. Like,
That would be the best. That would be Ride This One. Instead of doing like a 7-hour episode where you ask him every single thing, boom, that's it. And like we're that cool that I didn't even need to really talk to him at all. I love that.
Can I just say, I'm just saying, Neil Patrick Harris is not a coaster enthusiast.
What?
What? Yeah, no,
How
he ain't
dare
a coaster
you?
enthusiast. Okay, if you have an opportunity, go up to Neil Patrick Harris, ask him what a B&M is. He don't know.
Oh,
he don't know. He's a Disney fanboy. Now, I don't have a problem with Disney fanboys. I am also a bit of a Disney fanboy. However, do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. He is not a coaster enthusiast.
Okay. It's throwing down some shade.
No, I'm throwing down the tea, okay? I'm throwing down the truth. It is what it is.
Okay, because
you know who is a coaster enthusiast, obviously?
David Arquette.
No, anyone who realizes that the beast is actually called a beast.
Oh, yes.
That's how you know, because, he is aware of the original typo on the press release, a beast.
So all those years later, he was the one who was actually right.
What I love is that there's coaster nerds like furiously Googling this now. Wait a second. No, I don't remember there being a typo in that. And I was there with that. Hey, you're lying.
You've just upset some people. Exactly.
Oh, look, I was just ripping off Coaster Boy.
Oh, that's so great. Forever a beast will be what that coaster is called. I love it. I think you're supplying some stuff for us this week that normally we supply. So we've got, first of all, our ride of the day, which can be anything, any coaster, any type of flat ride or anything like that. And I know you've been thinking about it for a while. So hit us up with what your ride of the day is.
Any clean restroom.
Perfect.
Because if it's a messy restroom, I am not going to sit on that toilet. So if it's clean, it is the ride of the day. Oh, praise the Lord.
All right. Some of your favorite restrooms you've been in? In a theme park. In a theme park, yep. Some of the highlights of your bathroom career? Some of the best movements you've had?
1 second. I unplugged my headphones.
You laughed that hard. The headphones are out.
No, I'm lying. That's not my ride of the day. My ride of the day is also my tip of the day. Can it be both?
Okay, well, for that, Alex has to sing. Hold on 1 sec. Let's have him jam a little bit.
Tip of the day, tip of the day. It's the tip of the day. Tip of the day, tip of the day. It's the tip of the day. Yeah.
All right, beautiful. So we're combining them. This is something new for theme park families. We've never had a combo tip of the day and ride of the day, so I love it. Although I did think the bathroom was a great answer. That sometimes could be the most important ride of the day, especially if you don't get there in time. But hit us up with what your tip/ride of the day is.
My ride of the day is Boomerang at Six Flags St. Louis. The tip is don't ride it.
And not ride it because it's so good that you'll be let down whenever you ride anything else? Is that your reason?
Yeah, it's really more because it derailed. I'm just saying, don't ride it. I really don't want people to die. Don't trust that park.
Oh,
okay.
No one died in that derail. They were just held there for like 4 hours or something.
No one died. I mean, almost, but no one died. It was like when I was with you when we ate at the Black Sheep Burger place in Springfield. And then one of your children decided to run out in the street and almost get hit by a car. Well, it didn't count. He only almost got hit. By me, for scaring me that much.
He was just trying to get tips for the ride home. That's all that was.
My tip of the day is hit him where it doesn't show a bruise.
That's a very good tip for some people.
Don't
yes.
Don't hit your children. That's horrible. Don't do that.
No,
Child abuse.
yes, raise them perfectly so you don't have to do anything. All right, well, that's good advice for those of you who haven't been to Six Flags St. Louis. Avoid their boomerang for multiple reasons. Wow.
I wish I had like a legitimate tip. I wish I had a legitimate ride, but it's so this has been such an off season. This whole season's been an off season for me. Weirdly, I barely went to parks this year. Barely. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. That's all I can say is don't ride that ride.
It's an excellent tip. A lot of people avoid boomerangs as much as they possibly can. So I think that's an excellent tip. Although, we've been on some boomerangs we like and others not so much. But,
like the Invertigo boomerangs, we like those. And then just like Flashback at Six Flags New England, we like that.
That was our first going upside down ever. So close with conversions. Yeah.
I'm gonna blow your mind. I want you to think about this concept.
Here we go.
There was a time that a park announced the very first boomerang, and people were really excited because that had never been done before.
Uh-huh.
That was the Ride to Ride. Think about that.
That's deep. A small footprint to have that many thrills?
To go backwards and upside down? Are you kidding? That was nuts.
And that is one of the most intense elements on a coaster. That backwards loop is crazy.
It gets
still
you
is.
done.
It is.
Why hasn't anyone put a train on that with only lap bars? It could be done. The forces are absolutely strong enough. It could be done.
Yep. Because those trains are always the one that are used. Oh, well, wow. That's a lot of great information right there.
You know what it is? It's a lot of me trailing off and distracting you from your whole set script. And it was cute that you had a whole line of things that you thought we were going to follow. I did my best, but really I'm a tangent person.
And listening to your podcast, no one would know that.
No one would. You know what? Actually, people would be shocked to see how planned it is. It's not planned.
Which is great. Well, to copy you, I know at the end of your episodes, you tell people where they can find you. And so if someone is unaware of you and how to find you on the World Wide Web, where can they locate you as a human being?
Well, if you want to find me in person, you'll find me crying at a buffet. Now.
That's so sad. That's just such a sad image.
I'm crying because it's beautiful. No.
Head in a pile of lo mein, just tears augmenting the sauce.
All you can eat crab raccoon. No, you can find me on Twitter at RTO Slater, Slater.
Yes.
And you, of course, can find Ride This One at Ride This One. I mean, I mainly Twitter. That's the best place to reach me. You can also find me on and if you don't know what those are, well, that's because you're listening to the show. So,
wait, that sounds like names from like Sesame Street, like characters from Sesame Street. Why are you so angry? Is that Sesame Street characters?
Oh, or it looks like you need to relieve some tension. But
who's grinding his teeth. Stop that. You'll need to go to the dentist.
Yeah, he's teeth, all right. You cannot keep this in. This is absolutely inappropriate.
I don't know about that. There's no potty language. I think this is okay. Right? It's those 7 golden words we got to stay away from.
Yes, let's see. 7 golden words. Valley Fair will add a new ride. There you go.
Words that will never be said together.
Riot!
Burn it! Burn it! See, this is like a comedy skit. This is what comedians do. They come back to that theme throughout their whole performance. Like, we're doing art right now.
I don't know what you're talking about. I only remember about 10 minutes at a time.
It's been a good 10 minutes, trust me.
College. It was college. That's why.
Well, our good friend Slater, thanks so much for spending so much quality time with us. This episode will be up, I think, by April with how long this is going. So we might see you before this episode actually comes out. It's possible, who knows.
That's very, very possible. I told you, I'll give you the address for where the buffet's at. We can meet there. They got clean bathrooms, but only when you get there at first, at the beginning of the day. They don't stay clean. So
they don't smell like Hershey's bathrooms with the chocolate scent being wafted through?
They do not, and that is not chocolate. Do not eat the chocolate in the Hershey's bathrooms. It is not chocolate. Thunder Trunk learned that the hard way.
Yeah, that was a letdown. Oh.
I mean, he finished it.
He didn't complain that much.
He's no quitter. He's not a quitter.
Okay, so persistence. He has that at least.
Oh.
Yes, he's as persistent as Cedar Fair is with not investing in their other parks.
Perfectly stated. We can find the Ride This One podcast. Where would we even find that? How would we know where to locate it?
Probably on a list, but you can also find it on iHeartRadio, Stitchers, iTunes, anywhere that there are podcasts. Yeah, type it in. We also have a website, ridethisone.com. It was down for like a week because I didn't know our domain had expired. No, people, if you saw that, we were still around.
Yes.
Back up and go. So, yeah, no, you can find it, or, you just get on our Twitter. We have links to everything. So
yes. And we joke, but in all honesty, absolutely, if you don't have the kids around, like Andrew's voice is on it every day at the beginning and the end, but he hasn't listened to an episode yet. But absolutely, it's so entertaining, so well done. Just a bunch of guys having fun. And yeah, adults need to be adults sometimes. So absolutely check it out. It is a really entertaining podcast. And every once in a while, they do actually mention a park or a coaster. It happens occasionally.
It does happen. We do mention news. But seriously, if you have your kids around, do not play it. I'm not kidding when I say it is not for kids. It is not. It's not what it's designed for. And if you let your kids listen to it, you're a bad parent. I would report you to, DFS. So
and the cost of those therapy sessions would take up all your budget for theme parks. You don't want to go down that path.
You are going to have to answer so many questions as to what does this word mean. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Okay.
Well, that's when you just start learning a new language and pretend that word was never spoken.
Your kids are going to come out to you and be like, "What's the Rob Alvey? Do you really want to have to answer that? Really want to have to answer that question?"
Oh, he didn't just say that. Don't listen to him.
I didn't hear it.
No, Rob. Ugh, wow, scary. Well,
we should beat that out.
Well, a good friend, thank you so much for joining us. This was really a blast. And I've been on 2 Ride This One, so at some point here, we're going to have to have you on.
You've been on 3.
As a guest, 2. I've been on.
And then you did a partial host.
I did. I know I've done a bunch of skits that I don't like to admit to.
Tons of skits. I'm not counting those. You've done 3. I'm sure. Yeah. You did that one super last minute for me.
Oh, yeah, and always fun. Always love to do it. So it's nice. Us slackers and us podcasters have to stay together. So it'll be great. I have no idea what the future of these 2 are going to look like, but I like them being aligned as different as they are for as long as we can keep it going.
It's fine. You keep building up family values. I'll keep tearing them down. We'll meet somewhere in the middle.
It's a perfect balance. It really is in that way.
It really is.
We're like the little angel on the shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Although in those cartoons, which one always wins? Always.
Well, it depends when you turn it off.
It's always the devil that squashes the angel. So that's an inevitable.
Slater's taking over as the king of all media, no doubt.
That's right, America. Andrew's a has-been. It's time. It's my time. I messed it up. I can't do it. And I wanted to say your name, so I did.
What is that? Andrew's a has-been.
Andrew's a has-been.
He's not the king of all.
My time. Slater's out.
It's Howard Stern's the king of all media, not Andrew.
I know.
Slater's taking over as the king of all media, no doubt.
That's right, America. Stern's a has-been. It's my time. Slater out.
Yeehaw.